I didn't just assume that I could just start where I left off. I actually went, taught myself how to rap again, listen to everything.
Now, when you have intention in your music, people miss things.
The thing is, do you care enough to go back to school?
Why nobody ain't told Will Smith that yet?
Yo.
DIY.
Okay, DIYers, over the last week, LL Cool J was on the Ray Daniels podcast. And as you guys know, we have been covering a lot of stories because it seems like we're getting a lot of different types of interviews and a lot of different types of answers of where LL Cool J is at. Obviously, there's no question about the legend of LL Cool J. There's no question about his legacy already being cemented. However, in being an older rapper in this game, it's really interesting to hear how he's talking about how he's able to retain his hunger, but also how he's been able to kind of not just keep up with the times. I feel like it's such a terrible phrase in general,
Yeah,
right?
I know, right.
But how he's been able to evolve and even learn from a lot of the artists that are out here right now. I thought I'd never see LL's talking like this, but shout out to the Ray Daniels podcast.
Just say hello to somebody, and the way they would respond to me, there would be like a condescension or a little bit of, arrogance, which is different from confidence, right?
Yes.
Hit me with the arrogance. And it always just reminded me of how not to be.
Yes.
It was like a reminder.
Yeah.
It's like a no asshole policy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But be you.
Yeah.
But just, so, yeah, man, just, you just got to do what you love, man. If you love it and if you care about it, you could do it. Like, the thing is, do you care enough to go back to school? Do you care enough to, like with me, like with this project, I didn't just assume that I could just start where I left off. I actually went, taught myself how to rap again, listen to everything, really study.
Yo, taught myself how to rap again.
One more time, and I want to get your reaction first on this one. Those are words I never thought I'd ever hear from somebody of that legend.
Care enough to, like with me, like with this project, I didn't just assume that I could just start where I left off. I actually went, taught myself how to rap again, listen to everything, really study, really looked at the way songwriting has evolved and the way writing rhymes and hip hop songs has evolved, and really looked at the landscape and what's going on.
Yeah.
Because you got to remember, no matter what I accomplish, like I had said this on another interview, but it's true. Like Tim Hardaway had one crossover, but then when you look at Kyrie's handles, it definitely evolved. So.
Yes.
All right.
I'm gonna let you start this one off because hearing the legend say, I mean, anybody who knows the history of LL Cool J, which I know you do, as a hip hop head, first of all, as yourself, but hearing that is a bit surprising. Not that he's above learning, he's above evolving, but it really does become that process when you realize, like, oh, the music that I fell in love with, the genre that I fell in love with, even people who are in my categories have evolved drastically.
Yeah. Nah, first salute the legend for that awareness being at level 100. Right? Like, I think that's what it first takes, and a removal of your ego, if you would, to say, I had to go in and study and learn and see how it's grown and how they, you know what I mean? Like, just that is like, because realistically, he's gone and had a whole career in television.
That's what I'm saying. Like
a whole career, like a very successful career as an actor on television. So I can understand the, like, let me re-put myself back together, you know what I mean, and come back. But that's that high level IQ of, like, removal of ego,
right?
Because he's aware, man. Come on, man. This is one of the greatest MCs of all time,
right?
Saying this, so, and that's from his previous body of work to whatever he's working on now.
I'm about to ask you a hardball question.
Come on,
and I don't want to ruin none of your relationship in this industry. Why nobody ain't told Will Smith that yet?
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth.
Why nobody told I am a legion, I'm a cockroach, I am a refrigerator, I am the lights when it's off, I am the bathroom, I am the inside, the outside. What's going on? Why nobody told him don't do that? Why Russ was rapping with him?
Kurt, we not all blessed to have good friends, man.
You think
you support?
Do you think Will's the type person, if you tell him, like, hey bro, that ain't the one, you think he'll be like
yeah, the laugh for sure. That's happening.
I'm keeping it.
You have to, and the same is taking place with hip hop. Yeah. So I can't just say, oh, because I've been rhyming since since rhyming was rhyming, that, even
he had to think about that one.
Yeah.
And I can't learn nothing from this kid, or I can't learn, because I watch everybody.
Yeah.
And I listen to everything, and I let that kind of feed my spirit. You dig what I'm saying? So That's part of it too.
Yeah.
You know, because a lot of times that, you know, that I'm an expert mentality, I have you twisted.
It will.
That's the bar.
And I'm gonna tell it.
Have you ever took issue with receiving, and this could be for music career, this could be for career in music, this could be for anything. Have you ever took issue with receiving advice from someone that is younger than you?
Depending on who that somebody is.
Okay.
What is that somebody? Because I don't really care about age too much at all when it comes to that. Like, expert level is what I'm kind of looking at, right? Like, because my son is 13 and by far a more masterful origami maker than I could ever imagine being.
Hey,
right?
come on now.
So if I'm gonna learn that, I'm gonna go to him and holler at him.
You gotta go to the
go
pro.
to the pro,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I don't think it's the age thing as much as it is the experience of it and like, all right, what you talking about? Like, and what have you done to allow, you know what I mean? Because I love learning, man. I'm a fan of learning. So if I'm talking to somebody young who knows what time it is, I'm with it. But
reason I ask that is because I do think that exists with my peers in rap, and that they, in their mind, automatically think there's no way that this rapper is better than me. Even if they display skills that are more sharp, that are more detailed, that are more visual, that they will look at an artist and say, "How old are you?" Oh yeah, there's no way that you're as good as me, because of just literally time invested. And that's something that I had to kind of come to grips with, because through being around these folks and the osmosis, I thought like, oh yeah, nobody younger should be putting me on the game. But then I started getting game, and I started realizing like my OGs were very different from their OGs.
right.
Their time spent with those OGs may have even been different from mine. So game is game.
Yep.
And no matter how and who it makes its way through, you just be glad that you're on the receiving end of game. This whole project that I did with Iman Amari, he's younger than me. But for the first time in my 20-year career, I sat back and I was like, I need to be vocally produced. I'm listening to my raps and I'm like, I feel something is missing. I feel like something is not necessary. Like I'm rapping over old school beats and I'm doing flows that I feel like I've heard a million times from other people. But the only thing new is that I'm doing it this time.
Yeah.
And what he had me do was I listened to everything. And I when I found something, I pocketed it and I was like, all right, cool. Let me study this a little bit more and see why I like it first as an older rapper, and then see why the functionality of it works. Oh, like for one song, he was like, bro, on this one, talk about what you're going to talk about. But I said, I need you to rap like you in your 20s. And I said, oh, don't go too deep into the weeds. Just make it like talk it like you would talk it if you only had a certain amount of time to get your point across, or a short attention span to talk to. And I'm like, I do that every day.
Right.
Content helped me get to that. So, man, being open to receiving that advice from somebody who may, on paper, appear to be less experienced could be the best thing that you could ever do for your career. So that's why I asked that question.
No, for sure. And just being open, period.
No, facts.
Right.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
It has you forgetting that you still got to play.
100%. And yeah, and one other thing I'll add to that is the only thing that, like me, if I'm 16, if I'm 19, the only thing I care about is when I press play if I like that shit. Like, do I like it or not? Because all that Wikipedia and your Google and, your resume is extensive and your platinum and the words you made up, I don't give a damn. Like, is it hot?
Yeah.
Right.
Is it hot? You know what I'm saying? Because that's how I was. So, and that's how I am.
I love that. I love the is it hot?
Is it hot? Because at the end of the day, like, I don't care how old I get, that wow effect is still the same wow effect. And if it doesn't have it, I can tell you immediately.
But you know too, right? Like, so
Right.
is it hot is one, but then also does it make you feel something? Did it deliver the emotion that it was intended to deliver? Like hot isn't, you're not gonna get a song about losing your mother or a family member or something like that. That's not gonna be the hot record on your album. But yo, that might be the one that everybody connects to just because of how much emotion you were able to deliver through that track.
Iman, I can see him now, screwing up their face, sizing up a square like me, like I'm out of place, like I'm out of body. Like my story now gathered in these California alleys where I seen them getting active. The OG saw my potential to be a scholar, kinda sound like my pops, but mixed with street knowledge. Oh God, I done been with cholas and ghetto queens. They got me 211s and some chicken wings.
I cut my second verse off one more time. Ain't nobody giving a shit about what you're talking about, okay? Just letting you know ahead of time.
Mind controls over Debo.
I'm hearing a bunch of bullshit over there, man.
You sure right about that, sir? See, it's that mind control.
Hey, you kind of good at this shit, bro. Kinda.
Just kinda.
That's all you getting out of me today.
Living my life like this might be my last day. I'm living my life like I can't have no bad days.
I know I'm reaching on this one, but could it be something that because it creates a strong connection to you is something that you still perceive, depending on your definition of heat, right?
Yeah.
I know we say heat, we're talking about like hit songs and whatnot.
Right.
But in this context, could it be something that because the connection's so strong, it's like I've had times where I listen to something and I'm like, as an R&B singer, I'm like, oh no, this is hot. It's like, and it's not even hot from a standpoint of like, this is a hit song. It's a matter of like, it's emitting energy. It's emitting heat off of it. And that's kind of what I'm thinking about too. Like there's certain songs that, they from the jump, you can tell why people gravitate towards it. I listen to it, Not Like Us. I know why people gravitate towards it. It's easy. Conversation, the tempo, everything that's going along with it. But I also can listen to songs, like you said, like that and say, for me, that's where my hot meter exists for sure.
Yep. I think that's really like the biggest piece is like, did I get off what I was trying to get and deliver it into this for somebody to enjoy, right? Like, and then if they connect, they connect. But I got weirdo radio ears, so like,
what are weirdo radio ears look like?
So like, it's cool and it's terrible all at once, right? You could hear every background noise, any room you're in, and you can hear all this stuff. But the one thing that it's given me is like, I can instantly hear when somebody really is creating a song so it sounds right. And it's hard. And I'm going to make sure that my vocal cadence comes out this way and it's going to sound fire because I'm going to do it this way. And I'm going to, and I'm going to hit all the things and I'm going to try to do all the things. But I was so much thinking about it that I forgot my emotion with all this. And I don't even really know if I believe anything that I'm saying. And this is the stuff I hear.
That and it's detached. It's emotionless on purpose.
Yes.
And no wonder when somebody is able to understand why that resonates. Like for instance, matter of fact, let me see if I can even find let me see if I can find this post. Because I think this would be a good way to wrap it up. But in the midst of me really trying to figure out where I'm at as an artist at this stage, man, and working with Iman Omari, one thing that was really, really resonating with me is he didn't say it, but it was something that I recognized in other things that he was saying. And the thing that I recognized was that he was asking me to not rap in my performance rap voice. Every rapper has a performance rap verse. Curtis King, it's the exaggeration of Curtis King. It's the almost the cartoonish version of me. He wanted me to not rap in that cartoonish voice, and he wanted to get me closer to the Curtis King that exists in this very podcast that you're listening to right now. And in order to get there, I had to punch in 4 bars at a time. Boom, let's go here. And every time I did a verse, he was like, nah, that's too much. You're doing too much. What he called Kurt Franklin. C-U-R-T Franklin. He called it Kurt Franklin.
Got you out here taking him to church, huh?
I think Vince is going to describe it a genius here. Let me break this video down.
Yep.
So I said in this one, this goes, of course, to the project that drops August 23rd. I'm going to just say it for the video with Iman Omari, produced by him and vocally produced by him.
Hey, congratulations, man. Hit an applause on that thing real quick, man.
Y'all don't understand how hard we've been working on this project. This was a soul evolving, a soul finding. You know what's crazy? Like Iman had a way where he said, I had to attack Curtis King so that I could talk to Dewan. I thought it was the most genius thing he said throughout this process. He was like, I had to agitate Curtis King so I could have a real life conversation with Dewan.
Wow.
And I was like, and he got that.
Now, when you have intention in your music, people miss things. So I noticed that these stories weren't being heard because I was trying to create these soundscapes that worked in these different places. But I was able to strip all of that back on this project, utilize my actual tone of voice. Because like, all right, if Justice is saying he wants to hear my interviews and songs, to me, that doesn't mean tell jokes. To me, that means make it a more personal experience. So when someone's speaking to you and they're yelling or aggressive, it's more off-putting. If somebody walk down, she say, "What's up? How you doing?" It's like,
hey, chill.
You feel me? But if you speak in a more, and that's when people say, "Oh man, some people that listen to my music before will be like, oh, the tone, you're whispering, you're mumbling, but they've never had a conversation with me. But the people who watch my interviews, which end up getting more views than my music videos, love it. So I just had to kind of strip some of the things back and kind of use the tools in which people who weren't listening to my music appreciated about me as a person. And that's kind of how the stories peek through more. It's tone of voice, it's tempo, it's the melody.
Vince is a genius.
He is, man. Shout out to Vince, bro.
Somebody gonna have to tell it to
See, so, man, shout out to Niles, the genius. He said cadence has trumped lyrics. I think it's always been like that, man. I think it's always been to where, you know, how you said it was more important than what you were saying. What you were saying is still important, but it was how you were saying it and how in the pocket you were. That's why, like, there were so many songs that I was writing to. I write 3 verses, and Imam was like, nah.
Well, you know, and I think too that's hilarious.
He like that little part you got right there. Moment. Do the whole thing like that, but all of that other shit, yeah. You go ahead and delete that. But it took me hours.
Right? Yeah. Nah, I don't know. I think Vince hit it right on the head. Like when you're able to tap into that, it's way better. I do think that music being different for all people, they absorb it differently, and exactly what he said about you coming in and something you like and hitting somebody. They're not going with
nobody like that.
But cats like a Busta Rhymes, right? Hit you with that wop 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 wop, and it's like, so I think there's listeners that appreciate all these different things too, and that's like where it's tough.
But even with the Busta Rhymes one, I wonder if that's why at one point I want to say he either didn't get a platinum album, but he had issues basically with his album success matching his single success.
Oh yeah.
So like it's the same thing. I think Chance the Rapper is, and he's changing his tone now. He's still very Chance, but it's not like he's now in that I'm finding in me. He's finding that conversation where it sounds like an interview with him, and I just think that's when I think about when a rapper sounds quote unquote old today, it has more to do with rapping a certain way that feels performative. And I walked in the park, a TikTok TT. You don't talk like that.
Right.
So then people are like, you're putting on airs, you're not being authentic. So when I think about those artists, I think that animated rappers, we've done videos about it, like a Ludacris, they get success with singles, but something about the album, something about even their reception zooming out in hip hop culture, it's almost like the theatrics is looked at as something that's not respectable, as not being serious. Like you don't take the craft whatever it is, it does to people differently. There are those exceptions to the rule, but I look at that and I'm like, but look at the folks that people always hold up as the greatest. Even Pac gave you the same passion in them interviews that he gave you on Shed So Many Tears, that he gave it I Ain't Mad At You. I Ain't Mad At You sounds like a Pac interview.
But he said it perfect with the conversation, right? Like it's a conversation you're having over music.
Right.
Delivering this thought. And I think when you deliver it like that, people connect to it because people want to be a part of a conversation.
That part.
As opposed to preached to or yelled at in a certain form.
Unless it's DMX. DMX could have yelled at me. I'd have been all right with that.
Yeah.
Rest in peace to the legend, man. With DIYers, those are our thoughts on this. Definitely go get Beige by Curtis King and Iman Omari. DIYers, if you enjoyed this content, make sure that you hit the like button and maybe even consider subscribing. Come on, man. Stop being greedy. Peace.